Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's the R&B Show. Can you dig it? And now, here's Ricardo and Brett.
You're kind of subdued a little bit this week there, Rosie. Usually you're a little more over the top, kind of a Barnum and... what's the circus for?
Barnum and Bailey?
Barnum and Bailey.
Yeah.
Kind of over the top. But no, you're a little bit more subdued. You feeling okay?
I'm all right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
well,
it's,
It's been a grind,
it's
Rosie.
one of those days. It has been a grind.
It's been a 3-week grind right now.
Yeah.
Yes. And
it's
right
only
now,
2
and
days
by the
into
way,
week.
for everyone listening out there, the thousands that are listening, I'm being a little bit...
Could be millions.
I think after this 3-week stretch, there will have been 18 live streams over a 3-week stretch.
That's a lot. And travel time, too.
Yeah, so that's taking a toll, more so on YouTube, because you guys I actually was covering other events while you guys are doing live streams on the news site as well. And,
we missed you in Marshfield.
I know, and it looked good though. The stream looked great. We'll talk about that in a little
All
bit,
right.
but I just want to make sure that Brett's on board here, because Brett's a little cranky. Brett's a little cranky this morning or this afternoon.
Well, I said I got that natural cranky resting face. I picked that up from my dad. Apparently, they don't like talking to me, so I'm tired of people, Rosie.
Well, you'd be a good basketball coach, and you could sit on the sidelines.
You're our Joe Russell.
Yes,
I
got the Joe Russell face, don't I?
Everybody's like, he's so angry. No, that's his happy face.
I'm actually pretty good. I think I'm a pretty nice guy. I get along with people. Just relax.
Well, it's funny because Appleton North, Nate Warner took a shot of Appleton North right before they were hitting the court. I don't know if it was for their semifinal or their final, and they took a shot, and the girls were all smiling and stuff and everything. Then you see Russell in the background looking very upset for no reason. But that's his
his face.
That's just his regular face. I mean, that's just the way he is. He's always kind of intense looking.
I don't know.
We'll talk more about that in a little bit. But I want to welcome everyone to the R&B Show, episode number 27, only podcast dedicated to high school sports in the Fox Valley. I'm your co-host, Ricardo Arguello. Sitting alongside with me, as always, is Brett Christopherson, both of USA Today Network Wisconsin. Don't forget about Jim Rosendick. Rosie, he's here too, doing all the producing, all the engineering, all that kind of great stuff. Want to quickly go through some of the topics that we're going to cover today, because I know we have a lot to talk about here. First off, we're going to wrap up the WIAA State Girls Hoops. Appleton North was our champion, so I want to talk about that. Next, we'll move on to something that I'm excited to talk about. I know Brett is too. The WIAA State Boys Basketball Preview. We have 6 total Gannett teams there, 5 within, I guess, our USA Today Network northern area, I guess, and then there's a group from the Central Group. We'll talk about that as well. And within that, though, Brett, we're going to talk about what happened to Xavier.
Oof.
What happened to Xavier? And we asked this question, and you know the answer already. Is the FVA the premier conference for hoops? But we'll
I have
get
some
to
thoughts
that.
on that.
I know you do. And then we'll kind of, we're going to wrap up a little bit with the live stream season, some hits and misses. Maybe I don't want to say misses so much, but some hits and maybe some bigger hits. It's been. Did you have a total count of how many live streams we did? I thought you.
We did 29 prep games this past season, with the opportunity maybe to even add a few more in it during the spring. I know we've talked about softball as a potential, so we're not completely done yet, but certainly the bulk of it is over.
Right. So we're talking about maybe some of the nice experiences that we had there, maybe some maybe not so nice experiences. And then, we'll just wrap up and maybe do a little preview of Appleton North girls basketball that'll be on the big show tonight, the Varsity Roundtable. Kaylin Klitsky and Carrie Brecky. They're bringing the trophy, Brett.
Good.
So we're going to talk to them. It's championship week, I guess you could say. Possibly championship week next week. You don't know. Or wait, you're not on vacation next week, are you?
No, not yet.
Okay. I think it was the week following, actually. But
a few weeks yet.
If it's Kaukauna, if they do claim that D2 state championship, maybe we might have them on the show. Maybe a co-show with Oshkosh North if they also bring home.
Well, you got to do it. You got Tyrese and Jordan again on.
That was
maybe bring in their teammates.
We'll figure it out. But that's on tap here for the big show.
Is the whole team coming tonight?
I invited them. Kari actually didn't get back to me because I was actually talking to her, and I talked to Russell as well about it, that they're all invited. So we'll see. Maybe Russell will sit over here in the corner and look at you all mean.
Cool.
They're kind of on the banquet tour. I saw they were on a TV station this morning.
Yes, they were.
TV station. I checked that out. So Joe looking like Joe, kind of angry.
Was he still angry?
He was angry.
Maybe he hadn't eaten.
Me and him have a kinship. I think.
I can talk some heavy metal with him.
Maybe I'll just sit like this all day.
There you go. We'll tape it up if we have to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the Joker.
Well, speaking of Russell, let's stick with Appleton North repeating as state champions. Brett, and I want to say this in the most non-homer biased way, it wasn't even close.
No,
those
it
two
wasn't.
games. It wasn't even a doubt. There was never one point in any of those two games where I thought Appleton North is in trouble. And I'd like to say that you saw that, Rosie saw that, I saw that. Really, we saw that kind of excellent play, I guess, and dominating play in that sectional semifinal or sectional final win over
against Kimberly.
And we knew, boy, they're the 4 seed. They're going in there. They're just going to whoop up, and they did. Brett, I know you watched at least some of the semifinal games.
I watched both.
Yeah.
Well, I texted you. I think I texted you in that semifinal game when they're playing Arrowhead. And Arrowhead, I got to hear the top seed, Appleton North, the 4th seed out of the 4 teams, which we all kind of smiled about. It's like, okay. And I'm sure that Coach Russum used that as motivation. And he did. There was an article about it. Arrowhead didn't have a chance. I mean, Appleton North's defense locked them down, made it difficult for Arrowhead to even get a clean look at a basket, let alone even just run some offense. And they were clearly more active, more athletic, quicker, and they were clearly the best team in Division I. And I'm going to say this, too. I know there's talk about Beaver Dam being the best team in all of Wisconsin. No. Appleton North would beat Beaver Dam.
Absolutely.
And I don't even think it would even be a close game.
Yeah, I agree with you. Because
Beaver Dam does not have the quickness to combat that defense trip after trip. They've got some bigs that could score, but they're too fast. I mean, how many times do we see Brecky just from behind all of a sudden? We've seen it time and time again when we stream games. It looks like the opponent, the point guard's got the ball. All of a sudden she flashes in from behind, swats it away, turnover. I mean, they're just defensively so stout, and chemistry-wise, second to none. You can see it on the floor, just how they pass and work together.
And I'd like to bring up one more thing about Beaver Dam. I looked at Beaver Dam, and I thought this is basically Arrowhead. There was no, to me, discernible difference between the two teams. They kind of bigs, but obviously with Beaver Dam beating Hortonville, it's kind of like that FVA tie-in there. But a lot of it's matchups, and you hit it on the head, Brett. You look at North; their strengths are kind of would be Beaver Dam's weaknesses, and there's no doubt in my mind that North went out and did what it had to do to show everyone they are the elite team. I call them the Platinum Program in girls basketball, no doubt about it. And Brett, I thought Russum, hit on some of those topics in the post game. How he kind of motivated his kids. I thought he did it in a really kind of funny way, a little bit sly, maybe a little bit. Maybe I did use the 4 seed kind of as a motivation for the girls. And I know the girls were. It's hard to say this, but they kind of flew under the radar. You're the defending state champions, and you see the Classic 8 having the 1 and 2 seed. But no doubt in my mind, FVA left. No doubt we're going to talk more about that whole FVA thing in a little bit, Brett. But back-to-back state champs. And I don't know if you saw my column today. I talked about them going from doormat to dominant, and I know that Brecky and Levy aren't going to be there next year. But you look at some of the girls they have coming back: Van Handel, Van Wyck, Laux, Szabo. So they're bringing back a pretty solid contingent back to possibly contend for a 3rd consecutive state championship, Brett. So Appleton North, they're on the top, they're on the mountaintop the last couple of years, and I think they've shown everybody that that's throughout all divisions, not just Division I.
Oh, absolutely. Best team in the state of Wisconsin, all divisions. That's not a knock on Beaver Dam either. It's a good-looking team. They've obviously got a lot of Division I talent, or college talent for sure. But Appleton North just on a different level, and any debate between the FVA and the Classic 8 was also squashed at state. The FVA rules supreme, as we know they should, and they need that recognition. They deserve that recognition.
And maybe this is a bit, again, be more of a homer. I was at the, when I was watching the games, and then afterwards I saw the Mukwonago Oak Creek game. I kept on thinking, Kimberly could easily beat these two teams that are playing right now. That's what I kept thinking.
I can't believe that there's such an argument for that, because the FEA's beat up on the Classic 8 the last few years, basketball or football.
And I thought Joe Russum brought up a great thing. He was comparing Arrowhead and kind of like what he was expecting the gameplay. I like how he brought up. It's like we were going against Appleton East. Now Appleton East finished 4th in the FEA, if we all remember. So I thought that was kind of a telling thing. I don't want to see a dig, but it was kind of telling that. I know that he has to play nice and everything, but when I saw the same thing, I looked at Arrowhead and I was like, this team is no better than Appleton East. And Appleton East is a very good team, but they also a team that finished 4th in the FVA.
Yeah, I mean, it's that argument that I'm tired of. We'll talk about it a little bit again on the boys' side, but doesn't matter what sport it is. Not only the FVA but Northeast Wisconsin as a whole has some fantastic athletes and teams. I mean, they don't take a backseat to anybody. Enough with the Milwaukee-Madison bias. I mean, there's especially lately. I mean,
we got to stick up for our kids. That's what we got to do.
Yeah. And the schools here are top notch, and the coaches are top notch. The athletes are. You see a lot of Division I talent coming out of this area. Pretty good handful. Pretty good representation there. So it's right. They deserve a seat at the table with everybody else as being premier in the state.
A couple of things keeping up on that whole Northeastern Wisconsin thing. Haley Oskey, Miss Basketball.
Yes.
Bit of a surprise. Not that she's not worthy of the honor, but when she was there accepting that honor, it looked like she was actually kind of surprised that she got the Miss Basketball award. But that's a tremendous honor for her going to UWGB. Had a great year. She's a friend of the show. She's been on the show and everything. So we were really happy to see that happen for her. So that says a lot. And then next week. Is it going to be McCabe or Halliburton? Probably Halliburton right now has the lead a little bit, maybe, because he was named the Gatorade Player of the Year. But you're talking about FVA also having, or our area, I should
Northeast
say,
Wisconsin
having Miss and Mr. Basketball.
Yeah, I think that I think Tyrese is the leader now after getting the Gatorade Player of the Year. However, it would not surprise me because they've done this in the past. We talked about it on the podcast to be a dual Mr. Basketball with McCabe and Halliburton. I think Hero is out of the chase now.
Right.
Because of Whitnall's early exit in the playoffs and the fact that he was injured for part of the season, but still had a fantastic season. The Kentucky recruit, of course, we're talking about. But it's either going to be McCabe and Halliburton sharing it, or Tyrese will win it by himself.
I also want to give, last thing before we move on to the boys side, give a shout-out to Macy McGlone from Hortonville. Hortonville went up against Beaver Dam in that state semifinal, and it was a tough loss for the Polar Bears. They pulled to win 35-30 at one point. But McGlone went out there, and she had a heck of a game. I forget it was 16 or 18 points, a bunch of rebounds. She outplayed those bigs from Beaver Dam, made them look like they were standing still in several instances. I think a lot of folks on Press Row were impressed with Macy McGlone. That's no surprise, Brett. We've known of her for, since late last year, I should say, in terms of December, how good she was going to be.
Dominant.
Yeah.
I mean, Beaver Dam couldn't stop her, and Macy put her team on her shoulders for a good stretch, particularly that first half. She's going to be only a sophomore.
Yeah.
I mean, what's she going to be like when she's a senior? Got to be getting Division I interest, I would think. She's got to be on that path, I would think.
Her and Schreiber are going to be battling for that FVA honor, or I should say Player of the Year honor for the next couple seasons.
Just good footwork, the ability to finish both hands. I mean, I was just super impressed with her. Keeps the ball high. I mean, just things that doing as an underclassman that you typically don't see until you're an upperclassman. So I was very impressed with Macy. And Hortonville's going to be good. They got a lot of talent coming back as well. So I would imagine we'll see the usual suspects battling for FVA supremacy again next season on the girls' side.
Now, before we start talking about the state boys tournament that Brett and I we will both be at for this weekend, let's talk about, first off, at the sectional final level, what happened to Xavier? I think that was the most shocking score out of all the scores that we saw that day. I was at the game. I went there right before I went up to cover the Appleton North final, girls final. I did stop by there. We had Jim Oscola there covering it, but I wanted to see myself this Valders team. I'd heard so much about. You actually brought up Valders, Brett, so I think I got to give you credit. I think you brought up that Valders is a pretty tough team, and boy, they showed it.
Yeah.
And that was the only time I've ever seen Xavier taking out of their element and they, in a position where they could lose the game late. And then when you lose your backcourt, the state's best backcourt, or as some folks might believe, you lose Ferris and you lose Plummet. That's a tough 1-2 punch to take right to the gut.
It is. You can't lose. Losing one's hard, but losing both is really difficult and tricky for the Hawks. But we were at Marshfield, Rosie and I, when we heard the result, and it was before the game, but even some of the other members of the media were like, whoa, what? Valders, I knew coming in. Well, they've had traditionally a very good basketball program there. Actually, they just can't quite get over that final hump, but they've always been very competitive. You know, it's near and dear to my heart. That's where my dad went to high school. My grandparents lived in Valders, so I know Valders pretty well. And it's a small farming community in Manitowoc County, about, 10 miles maybe west of Manitowoc. You wonder how a town like that continues to build a good basketball team, but they've got some bigs. A 6'5" point guard, that Tuma kid, and Beimborn underneath is a tough big that can also step out and hit shots. But what I liked, And we've talked about this as the Xavier system. We see it a lot is when a shot goes up and they're on the defensive end, they leak. Mm-hmm. They get the rebound, outlet, bam, fast break, bucket. The Valders coach, at least according to the story I read by Jim Oscola, when a shot went up, they dropped their guards back to defend against that outlet pass and defend against the fast break. 3 guys crashed the glass. I think they felt comfortable enough that they had the bigs and the strength to fight for those rebounds, even with 3 guys. Of course, if Xavier's leaking anyway, so I suppose it's pretty much a 3-on-3, 3-on-4 matchup anyway, but still dropping the 2 guards back to prevent the fast break I thought was a great game plan. And it was just one of those nights where I think Valders also said it also helps when we hit shots that they got to inbound it and they can't take the defensive rebound, look for that outlet, and you get going. So credit Valders for just knocking down some shots as well.
Absolutely, and there were several big shots. They never let Xavier go on the back-breaking run that we've seen from this Hawks team in all of their wins, Brett. I thought that was something that I was sitting there right under the hoop. I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for Xavier to put together that 10-0 run, the 12-2 run. Never happened. And Valders, not only can they shoot the 3, they had some big kids who could shoot the 3. They had a 6'8" kid, I forget his name. He went out there and he was hitting threes. You can't defend that, Brett. Oh, you can't.
That might have been that Beinborn kid.
Okay, it might have been the Beinborn kid. I kept on thinking this young feller can shoot.
Yeah. So then what do you do?
Exactly.
Do you step out with a Xavier big like Nate DeYoung, and then that opens up stuff underneath. Or you have to go out and defend him, right? So you have to bring somebody out to guard him. But then he's got the size, if you bring a guard, that he can shoot over that kid. So it's a tough matchup. And now Valders has the number 1 seed in Division III.
I was just going to say that. Now we'll see what happens. Now I guess you run the risk of maybe kind of blowing your shot. Putting everything there in that final win, the sectional final win over Xavier. Do you have enough to take it, have that carry over into the state tournament? But as wide open as the Division III field is now, because we got Prescott, we got some familiar faces there. I think Valders has everything that they need to maybe take home that gold ball.
Well, what are they, 23-3? So their record's no joke, and they're playing in a very good conference, and that's going to tie into what I want to talk about when you talk about the FVA in a little bit. But kudos to Val. I mean, that town, they're going to shut that town down. Again, I know with having family in Valders and the family history there's not going to be a soul left in that little town. And the first time they're back at state since that run in the 80s, 82, 83, 84, they finished as Class B runners-up every single year. They just could never get that gold ball. So a very proud community. That was under Coach Dick Nelson, by the way. I think Crystal was one of the players, one of the stars. You're talking 30-plus years ago. But I remember that because my dad, being from there, was so into watching those games. I was just a kid at the time, and I think it's cool. Not cool for us as far as being here in Appleton and having so much respect for Matt Klarner and what he's built at Xavier High School. There's no doubt, guys, that result is the biggest upset in any game that was played in the state of Wisconsin this boys basketball season, because we all thought Xavier was unbeatable. The way they just chewed teams apart. Shocking. But congratulations.
And if I hadn't witnessed it myself, Brett, I don't know if I could believe it, but I did. And I actually had the last couple seconds on my Twitter. If you want to go to my Twitter at PC Ricardo, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see the actual footage of them. I should say Xavier missing that last shot. And the Valders students, they're supposed to hold them back. It didn't matter. No. They got right out there celebrating that big win for the Vikings.
Well, hindsight being 20/20, we were at down at Marshfield, Rosie and I, for the 3rd straight year, streaming that big Oshkosh North Spash game. I guess if we look back and we were thinking, well, maybe we should have streamed that one. But at the time, you're going in thinking, Xavier Valders is going to be a good matchup, but Xavier's going to end up winning by double digits, and this is the defending 3-time defending state champs in Spash taking on the top-ranked team in Oshkosh North. We still picked the good game.
We did.
We had huge numbers, but I guess you'd think, boy, it would have been nice to be on hand. Did I mention that we're in the midst of 18 streams over 3 weeks? But what do I do?
Yeah.
What do I do?
What do you do?
Okay, state.
What do we do?
WIA state preview.
You just show up
when
you do
you
it.
get a little cranky sometimes.
Oshkosh North, our friends down south, and Kaukauna, our friends out west there, or east a little bit, both making Division I, Division II respectively. Number 1 seeds are probably and should be viewed as the odds-on favorites to win the gold ball there. I'm not sure for Oshkosh North that might be their first time they would ever win the gold ball. For Kaukauna, as we know, they won it a couple years ago. But Brett, there's an FVA flavor. They're at the state tournament, and so it's exciting to see. They're one of only 2 conferences I think that have 2 teams there. I think actually the teams that are two of the teams in the D1 field are also from the same conference. I have to double check that, but hey, here we go. So a D1 champion right now in girls basketball could have a D1 championship in boys and D2 boys. So
how about that?
I think that leaves no doubt, my friend, if that does actually come to happen.
Well, you can take that battle on with your guys that you're on the radio show with down in the Milwaukee area. But we saw, again, Oshkosh North against Spash. Yeah. And, of course, Spash with the upset win over Kimberly on Thursday in a sectional semifinal, a game that Kimberly seemed to have well in hand, up by 13, I want to say, at the half. And I thought led by as many as 15 or 17 at one point. But Spash, of course, we all know the story. Big Joey Hauser started the season on with the Panthers, the Marquette recruit. Ended up needing foot surgery, so he's going to miss the rest of the season, and had enough credits accumulated where he could graduate early and then enrolled at the semester break for Marquette. So it's kind of strange where he started the season with Spash with a 30-plus point game against Rhinelander, and now he's on the bench in the NITs cheering on Marquette. By the way, Joey, I don't know if you're listening or watching, but of course listening. You forgot about me, my big fella. Yeah. I went up to you, I talked to you before the game, shook your hand and said, Joey, we want you up in the booth at halftime to talk. Yeah, no problem. I'll do it. We watched him walk by and right to the concession stand at halftime.
Hey, the kid was hungry.
Come on. I mean, I'm telling you.
That hot dog.
I even ran into his mom, Stephanie, from the WIA. I said, hey, do you think Joey would want to talk? And I don't know if there's restrictions by Marquette because he's with Marquette. No, ask him. Yeah, and I say, yeah, sure, I'll come up. And
see, that's where you should have had.
He dissed us.
You should have had Steph corral him.
I should have had him
every son's going to listen to their mom.
I'm sure he completely. Well, he was hanging out with Trev Anderson, and he's probably just soaking it in, probably killing him that he wasn't on the court because that game might have been a little bit different. It would have been a battle, but Oshkosh North getting back to the Spartans. Oh.
That second half run, I was watching that too, by the way. And that to start, I think Tyrese Halliburton had a couple dunks.
So did Quincy Anderson too.
Okay.
It was a 9-0 run, like within 2 minutes. It went from a 10-point game to a 19-point game. Yeah. I'm telling you, the length of Oshkosh North. Drew Blair, the sharpshooter for Spash, I don't think he hit a three in that entire game, but they always guarded him with Tyrese or length.
Okay.
Especially on the top of that 1-3-1. They started out in a matchup zone, and they played that zone so well. But there's so much length that you can close out quick on the shooters. It's going to take an effort to beat Oshkosh North. As I said in the stream, I think it's their time. They have so much talent. Again, another team where a lot of pieces are back from a great run last year. Chemistry is fantastic. Tyrese, the unquestioned leader of that team, and does it in a positive way.
Yeah.
And think about this, guys. 35-1 in the FVA the last 2 seasons. 35-1 in the FVA. That is amazing with the amount of talent that's in that league.
I agree.
To be back-to-back champions, 18-0 last year, 17-1 this season. I'm really hoping it's an Oshkosh North Sun Prairie matchup in the championship because you're going to have a lot of star power on the court, especially with the Johnson kid, only a sophomore for Sun Prairie. Probably going to move into the next big recruit, through the state of Wisconsin. He's always getting some serious Division I looks, but I just think with the experience and the overall talent, Oshkosh North clearly the team to beat right now.
Well, they play Sussex Hamilton 6:35 p.m. Hamilton got a little bit of the Cinderella coming in with just a 17-9 record. So that again, that's one semifinal. Sun Prairie, you mentioned, Brett. They play Brookfield East at about 8:15 on that Friday night. Before that, though, on that evening session is Kaukauna, top seed, playing Westosha Central at 1:35 p.m. Brett, you could say the same thing. Now, we saw Kaukauna get past a very scrappy Pulaski team in that sectional semifinal at Preble. It was close, but then they got the job done against Nicolay a couple nights later in that sectional final, Brett. But you're talking about the only team that's given Oshkosh North that one loss out of the 36 games. So it's going to be all FVA. It'll be an FVA fun Saturday evening if actually those two teams do advance to their respective title games.
I feel good about Kaukauna coming out of that semifinal game against Westosha Central. Looking at potentially, the La Crosse Central battle in the state championship, and I know Central, even though they lost Kobe King, obviously a well-established program, they're going to be tough.
Well, I don't think they'll get past Milwaukee, Washington, to be honest. But if
you think Washington's going to beat Central?
Yeah. But I do think they'll. I think what people want to see is the Central Kaukauna matchup. Actually,
I guess that's what I'm banking on.
Yeah, and I think Milwaukee, Washington will get past them.
Okay.
Though.
Well, we'll see.
But either way, you're looking at two FVA teams should be in the finals for Division I, Division II. Go ahead, Brett. You have something?
For Kaukauna to win, though, to win another gold ball that would be their second in the last 3 years, McCabe's going to have to carry him. He's going to have to have a 30-plus game again like he did against Nicolet. I think he had 34, and that was only a 10-point victory.
Now, Donovan Ivory had a big game in the semifinal,
he had
though.
30.
Yes.
But McCabe is the man. He's the one that can facilitate. He can break down defenders just on the dribble. He can set up teammates for buckets. We saw that in against Pulaski, where maybe Jordan was struggling a little bit with his shot, but on that run that finally put it away, he was setting guys up with the pass. And I think it's just going to have to be McCabe for 2 more games. It's going to have to put the guys on his shoulders, let the other guys. And I always think role player sounds bad or derogatory. It isn't, dude. But the guys just have to fill their roles. Dylan Curry's got to have to play big underneath on the block. Eric Carl's going to have to step out with his length and hit some shots. Donovan Ivory stepped up as a junior, has played really well. Is what 6'3", 6'4", with length. But it all starts with McCabe, and he's got to get the machine going and set everybody up. And he's going to have to step out and hit some shots too. If he plays big these 2 games, I fully expect Kaukauna to raise the gold ball once more.
Yeah, that's Division 2, Division 1. Now, let me run down some of these the 3 other divisions. In Division 3, we talked about Valders, am I guessing that all 3 of us picked North and Kaukauna to come away with titles?
Yeah, I'm going to. I'll go the homer route, but how do you go against the top-ranked teams in Divisions 1 and 2?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. North's the team to beat.
It's their turn.
Yeah,
it's their turn.
It is. It just is, and I think I pretty much agree with what Brett said about Kaukauna. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in Division 3, we talked about Valders. Now they're playing Kettle Moraine Lutheran at 1:35 on Thursday. That is a very dangerous because Kettle Moraine Lutheran's coming in a pretty hot team. But Brett, look on the other side of the bracket, some familiar faces. Prescott, East Troy. They have been there to the tournament. I know Prescott obviously lost in the title game last year to Xavier. That said, I still think Valders, I guess by virtue of beating the top seed, they're the favorite, and I would say that they're probably the favorite to win that title there.
I disagree.
Okay. Brett, who do you say?
I'm sorry, Valders, but I'm picking Kettle Moraine Lutheran, and here's why. Kettle Moraine Lutheran in the playoffs beat Brown Deer.
Okay.
They beat Dominican.
Okay.
And they beat Waupun all in a row.
Okay.
Those are 3 top 5 teams, I believe, in Division 3.
But Valders beat the top team.
I agree, but I think the road was obviously trickier and more challenging for Kettle Moraine Lutheran. I think they come in as one of those teams that is red hot and a team you don't want to play right now. I mean, they're 22-5. That's not a record to scoff at. I just think that they're a little bit more battle tested than Valders, and that is no disrespect to Valders. I just think this Kettle Moraine Lutheran team and what they just accomplished and the teams they just took down, I think gives them a slight edge.
I'm actually shocked a little bit from that playoff field that you just mentioned that they're the 4th seed.
Yes,
now
I am too.
To tell you the truth, if Xavier had popped on through, you would still say that would be a possible upset, right? Kettle Moraine Lutheran coming in. You would say that Xavier isn't exactly a given that they'd make it to the final.
You'd have to, based on what Kettle Moraine Lutheran just did and the teams they took down. Waupun, okay. I mean, Waupun is a power with the Domas kid and his dad as a coach.
Okay.
The fact that they won and it was 53-48, so in the sectional championship, I just think that that was very impressive run by, I think they're the Chargers, right? Kettle Moraine Lutheran.
Well, I'm sticking with the old Vikings. And what about you, Rosie?
Wow, oh boy.
Rosie's still angry about last night's stream.
I am.
His focus isn't on hoops
all this
right now.
Static in the air. My one thing about Valders is, are they going to have a letdown after that?
Yeah,
big game?
That's the only concern.
That was and the road that Kettle Moraine Lutheran has gone through already is pretty darn good. So I think I'm going to go with Kettle Moraine.
Okay, there you go, Rose.
All right.
I just think Valders is going to have a Valders.
First of all, guys, it's not Valders, it's Valders. All right, say it right.
Valders.
It's not though. It's Valders.
Valders.
Okay. Don't get me angry. I'm already a little on edge right now.
Valders. Right. Yeah, I just think they're ripe for a letdown.
Well, I call it Stevens Point Senior High.
No, it's Stevens Point Area Senior High. That's what the acronym is. SPASH.
SPISH.
Hey, that would be great if Valders proved me wrong and kept on going, because it's almost like this Hoosiers thing that they got going on right now. The small town against the bigger.
Well, if they were playing like Oshkosh North, maybe.
Yeah, but
it's
still,
not like Little Reedsville from 1946.
Yeah.
They beat the big boys on their way to the title.
Is Valders the smallest town in the 4 now? Of the 4?
Oh, that I don't know. Would not.
You mean of our USA Today?
Well, no, of the
four teams in
field.
D3?
The four teams.
No, I think Prescott might be smaller.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
I don't think Valor's maybe 900 people.
Oh, wow. Maybe I'm wrong then.
Okay.
Well, in Division 4, Brett, Roncalli plays Partyville at 6:35 p.m. on Thursday, and then Clear Lake versus Marathon. You look at Roncalli, then they're another Gannett team, and I actually like them in this field as well because Clear Lake, while they're 25-0,
no,
we always question the 25-0 when they're from the little conferences, Brett. And you just said, we talked about this earlier, Roncalli dropped down from a D3 conference to play D4. They're 21-5, but that 21-5 might have more merit than their Clear Lake's 25-0. I also see them get into that championship ball. And Partyville, nice for them to be there the first time. I want to say the Bulldogs, because I actually covered them early in my career. They were always right there at the sectional level, could never pop through, so it's cool to see the Bulldogs there. But, yeah, Roncalli, in my opinion, that's the team there.
I would agree. And they were always good at Division III. At the Division III level, they've made state appearances, and they've had deep tournament runs. Chomby Lambert in D4. Good luck. I mean, this is a kid that can – I think this is a kid that could compete at the FBA level. He is that good. He's not big, but is quick as a cat, explosive. His agility is in ball handling. He is going to be a load in the Division IV level. I fully expect Roncalli to make it to the D4 title. Would not be surprised if they raise the gold ball too. I think they've got good tradition. The Schneider kid can step out and hit some shots. Mitchell Schneider, I think it is his name. I think he's a 1,000-point scorer. Has a good stroke from distance. So
no, you're not a fan of Clear Lake or Marathon on the other side of the bracket?
No, okay. I'm going with Roncalli because I've seen those kids coming up. My son played against them in youth levels. They're good.
Okay, Rosie.
Good.
Now, this is very odd, but gut feeling, just a gut feeling, because Marathon took out Amherst.
Okay.
I'm thinking there could be
a
Marathon
Okay.
win here.
Well, I'm keeping track of this. So,
okay.
So Rosie has Marathon, and Brett and I both pick Roncalli. And in Division 5, our friends at Green Bay New Lutheran.
They're back, aren't they?
They're back. They're the 4 seed going against Bangor.
25-1.
9:05 a.m. Tip for there. I'll be covering that one Friday, so I'll be covering Green Bay New Lutheran and Kaukauna. And then if they need help from me from Oshkosh North as well, that's a big Friday for me. Big Friday for you too, Brett, 'cause you'll be there for all those games. But our friends at New Lutheran, 15-12 record, coming in as usual with the worst record of the teams there.
Seems like every year.
Yeah, and Bangor comes in with 25-1. So okay, look, I look at these 4 teams. I'm actually going to pick Deerfield to win this one. So that's my pick.
I'm going to pick Bangor to win it all.
Okay.
That's why I'm going to pick Bangor.
Okay.
Bangor.
Over in the La Crosse area.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just, I want to pick Green Bay New Lutheran. In the past, maybe I would have done that, but I also think they're going to fall in that semifinal.
I do too. But hey, congrats to the Blazers. They're back at state. You know, they clean up in that D5 field. Look at Rosie. Rosie's so tired and delirious. He's ready to knock over in his chair.
Well, hold on. We have one more segment here before we wrap up, and I want to talk about some of the hits that we've had in the live stream season. Brett, I think you said we had 29 total. Remember anything kind of stick out from you?
Well, it's got to be you got to be the Kimberly football run in those 2 playoff games against Fond du Lac in level 3 and Appleton North in level 4. Great games. The fumble by the Fondy quarterback on the goal line. That was, I think, we were getting ready to tie the game, right? Score, and then the extra point would have tied it. Fumbled it, game over. Kimberly falls on it, streak remains intact, and we had our 2 record viewership numbers at those games. So those are the ones that really stick out. Also, giving it a go for the first time in girls volleyball, Appleton North and Neenah. That was a fun night too.
Yeah.
And we had great numbers. We had great numbers all season long. So it's been a lot of hits.
Yeah.
But Rosie, I'll let you talk because I want to find out how we did through our playoff games.
Okay. Yeah. I liked the touchdown pass by Rosner. I believe that was to win the game against North. That was during the regular season. Right, and who caught that touchdown?
Lechner.
Right after, didn't Lechner the other one was just out of his reach, and we thought, oh boy, how's this going to play out? And went right back at it, and there he was. Yeah,
I have to agree with both of you on the highlights there. Our football live streams were some of the best that I think that we've had, so it was great to see those. See the folks who are interested in those games being able to watch that. But yeah, the play of the year, in my opinion, and I know we have an award for that for our end of the year banquet. But boy, that touchdown pass to Lechner has got to be right up there. One of the greatest plays I've ever seen at the high school level in terms of clutchness, given the opponent, the situation, Brett, and that he had dropped
the previous play.
And it was such a big one that I know Coach Jones asked us for the footage of that because he uses that as kind of like a motivation, an example of don't give up, you'll get another chance. I think that was telling. That's what sticks out to me, Brett, for sure.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. I mean, like I said, that Kimberly run, there's been some really fun basketball games. Football, I've noticed, Rosie, you have too, that football seems to draw more numbers overall than the basketball, but that's not discounting what we get for basketball. I got the numbers here for our 6 playoff streams, and this was as of late Monday morning. We did 3 girls, 3 boys, and we appreciate the sponsorships we got on top of our regular sponsor. We were closing in on 70,000 total views on those 6 games. That includes the Kaukauna-Pulaski was over 20, and boys sectional final, and then the Oshkosh North Spash game on Saturday was approaching 20. So that's fantastic, and that was with direct competition of another media outlet that we seem to be kind of clashing with right now, but that's okay. We hold our own just fine, and we got to credit, well, all of us. I think we all work well together. We all have our roles. Rosie's the technical guru, You got your knowledge, I got my knowledge, and it all puts it together as far as the planning and all that good stuff.
Well, first off, I thank you for calling my acumen knowledge, because I exactly wouldn't call it that. But thank you so much for that. But yeah, I think we're going to go head to head with other outlets as well.
Well, yeah.
Upcoming season, and that's the thing with us. So we welcome any challengers to us, and
keep us on our toes.
Yeah, while others may not like that so much, we're fine with it. We'll go up against anybody, anywhere, anytime, right, Brett?
Well, absolutely, and we've already got 2 football games locked in for the fall. We got the Week 1 Fondy at Kimberly. Week 1, we'll be streaming that one at Papermaker Stadium, and also Week 7. The Kimberly at Appleton North game, that's all set in stone at Paul Ingham Field, so you can put those 2 live streams down on the calendar as well. But
we will have those.
Again, Rosie, you handle the technical stuff. I do a lot of the planning and put game notes, and we always have to do our live stream checks, so we're always going to the stadiums or the gyms well in advance. So I don't think people, I'm going to pat ourselves on the back. What the heck?
Go ahead.
I don't think people understand the amount in preparation and the time it takes to do a live stream correctly, and we don't just show up and plug in and say, hey, why isn't it working? We're working with IT staffs and taking a lot of time to make sure that we deliver a product that not only our viewership wants to see, but our sponsors want to be part of as well. So we all have our roles, and it seems to work well together. So good job, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, and my final thing before we kind of wrap up the show here, Varsity Roundtable coming up later tonight at 7 o'clock. We have the state champion Appleton North girls team on, Kaylin Klitsky and Kari Brecky. They're bringing the trophy, Brett. They're going to have it. We're going to have it over here. Hopefully nothing happens to it. I don't knock it over accidentally. But excited to talk about, like you mentioned, a team that's getting a lot of media love of late. So good to have the girls on here and celebrate, again, their second consecutive state championship.
Yeah, good for them. I can't wait. Maybe we can get our picture taken with the trophy, because that's as
that
close
as
we'll ever get.
Trophies I'll ever get.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hey, can I give a plug to what we're doing tomorrow night, by the way? We're going to have a special Clubhouse Live show. It's going to take place right here at the Clubhouse, downtown Appleton, at the Radisson Paper Valley Hotel. It's our Bud Light March to the Championship show. Normally, Clubhouse Live is Packers related. We switch gears for one time and one time only. We talk hoops, NCAA hoops. We'll talk high school hoops. Maybe even talk a little bit about some pro hoops, because our guest played at the pro level. It's going to be former Badger standout Appleton West legend Brian Butch. So, on Wisconsin, says
West.
Rosie. But
no, West.
Oh,
man.
West?
Appleton West.
Forget it. So that starts at 6:30. Be there. We're giving away a Pop-A-Shot game, guys. And the Polar Bear doesn't know about it yet, but I'm going to take him on one-on-one, and I'm not going to be beaten. You know that. I'm a pretty good shooter. I will not be beaten by the 7-footer.
He's deadly off the glass.
And but it's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll break down the brackets, talk about what happened to the Badgers, Marquette. We'll talk about the high school level, because Brian Butch does a lot of high school games now on the radio. He actually is an assistant coach with the Wisconsin Herd as well, so he's definitely connected, and he's played in NCAA tournaments, and should be a lot of fun. So 6:30, be at the Clubhouse. Register to win a lot of great prizes. If you can't watch it in person, watch it live online at clubhouselive.com. We'll also stream it to all of our Facebook pages throughout the network.
I had one selfish thing from our from our streams this year, when we got Noah Faber to play the national anthem.
Oh, yeah.
That
was,
that's right. That was a good move, yeah.
That was for the state semifinal.
Yeah.
When it was freezing cold at Oshkosh.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, but he was out there, man. He was rocking, dude. He was really playing it great. And kudos to you, Rosie, because you noticed that right away and kind of set that up yourself, right?
Yeah. I kind of got the ball rolling, and then
this is all about patting ourselves on the back right now.
You know,
why not?
Why not? Yeah.
Well, right on that note, let's pat ourselves on the back for a great show number 27. Again, the only podcast dedicated to high school sports. The Fox Valley Air. This is the R&B Show. Check us out next week again as we kind of wrap up WI State Boys basketball tournament, as well as maybe looking forward to some spring stuff, Brett. It's that time of the year.
Might even stream a few spring
Who knows?
games. We'll see.
We'll see if we can get that set up. But for now, Brett, you know how to close it.
Yeah, you got the camera higher, Rosie.
I know. I did that purposely.
Oh, look at that. Still number one.
See, that's even better
it's
now.
It's wrist flip. Let's try the football.
Football's different.
Wow. The dead eye.
No,
see, you got
Butch has no chance.
It's too easy. We got to up the challenge.
Butch has no chance tomorrow night.
We're gonna put somebody in front of you.